Hi there everyone, welcome to the STEM Lockdown Digital School. And today we're still busy here with grade 12 IT, but grade 11s can also try this out. You have all the skills that you need to complete this section of code. So we're going to look at select statements and what we can do in there. We probably won't finish with select. This is just the start of the explanation for question 2.1 in your final exam in matric, and 2.1 will be SQL. So here's an example of a simple select. The code here is going to be given to you, maybe not in this format. Right at the end of these sessions, I'm going to show you all the other formats. What you are going to type is the bits in between inverted commas. So query is the object that I use to link the database to my form and to be able to do some queries with it. So it has a .sql.text property, and this property is string. So anything you put after the assignment statement here has to be string. Don't worry about the linking, that you need to do for your PAT, but in an exam, and that's what we're focusing on today, is for you're just going to use it. So you're not going to link it while you are writing your exam. It will be linked for you. So if we have a look at what this statement means, for now until we do some changes, we're going to start all our statements with a select. Now this star here indicates that it is all the fields. So I want to display all the fields, and our select has to have a from. So this is the minimum that you're going to have in a select statement, and the from is the name of the table. But the name of the table is, what is it called in Access? And in an exam, right at the end of your paper, you will have some design views of your database to tell you what the names are, what the field names are, and what the data types are of these fields. So this code here is going to go in a button or in a menu, and if I run this program, I will see the whole table, all the fields from this table company. Now, one thing that we can do with our tables is we can sort them. And to do that, you still have your select star and then from your table name. And then after that, you have order space by, and then the field name of what you want to sort your tables according to. By default, order by is going to sort in ascending order. And I'll show you now how to do it in descending order. So if we go to this example here, I'm still reading from the table company. I'm still displaying all my fields, and I'm sorting it according to the company ID field this time in descending order. So the Z or the W here is at the top because it's last in the alphabet. We can then also sort according to more than one field. It's very similar to your class list of your teachers. So you guys are sorted according to surname. But if two of you guys are Smith, then Adam Smith will be above Zander Smith. So I first sorted by surname, then within that I sorted according to the name. And to do that, you're going to still have your select and your from. In this case, I'm reading from the other table. So this is TBL activity, and I'm sorting it, so order space by, according to the renting cost. So renting cost, if you look at the example here, is sorted from smallest to largest. Then separated by a comma, the second field I want to sort this table according to. So then where the renting cost is the same, so I've highlighted here, I've highlighted for you guys the one where the renting cost is 500. Then within that, the activities are sorted in alphabetical order. I can also sort according to one field, this one in ascending order. You can see the smallest ticket cost is at the top, and then within that the company ID in descending order. So I just add my DSC. So you'll see here where the ticket costs were 10, this is sorted in descending order. So this is an interesting little operator. We're going to use it, it's called top, and we're going to use it with order by in our select. So top goes in the front. So let's say I want to see, and what this is saying is I want to see the top 5 records I want to display all my fields from the table. This table was called TBL Learners. And then I want to sort it according to the marks in ascending order. So your table will show you the records with the smallest mark or the lowest mark at the top and the highest one at the bottom. And then top 5 will then show you only the first 5 records from the top. In other words, this one will show you the lowest marks, the 5 lowest marks. And then here, the top 10 I've used here with order by marks in descending order. So now my table is sorted with the highest mark at the top and the lowest mark at the bottom. And I'm showing the top 10. So I'll see my first 10 top students really. But it would be the top 10 records in the table. But since I'm sorting the marks in descending order, I'll see the top 10 marks. We don't need to display all the fields all the time. We're going to read our questions carefully to see which one must be displayed, as well as looking at your screenshots. But if you need to display only selected fields from your table, you will start with your select and you will list your field name separating with a comma. Careful not to put a comma there before the from, else your program will actually run. So SQL often runs with errors, but then it will crash because of the comma there. So before the from, there's no comma, and then your table name. So here I will only see these 3 fields, and also in this order. Here's an example of sorting. So let's say I wanted to display these fields from this table, but I want to sort by the activity field. I have 2 options here. The one is to say order by activity, and the other one is to say order by to. So the 2 means the second field listed in your select. So select 1, 2. Sometimes when we're using field names, we need to add square brackets. And here's 3 rules of when to add square brackets. So we have the square brackets here around this field because it contains a space. If we are using a field name that is a reserved word, in other words, it has an existing meaning in Delphi, we also need to put square brackets around it. So there are some examples. I know that names, plural, also is a reserved word, but remember items is one of the properties of your radio group and your combo boxes. So you had radio group dot items. So therefore it needs square brackets, so any reserved word. And then the last example is when we are using operators in our fields. Let's say we had a divide there in our field name. This just represented the person is male or female. Then we also need to put square brackets around it, else SQL is going to try to take the M field and divide it by the F field. So to tell SQL not to do that, we put it in square brackets to say, no, this is a field name. Up to now, we've just displayed all the records of each table, but we are able to display selected records. Okay, so between the select and the from, that's what the user will see, the field names that they will see, and later on calculations go in there. So here it will see all the fields from the table learners, but I'm adding a where here, and after the where goes a field name, an operator, so operators are equal to, greater than, and equal to, less than, similar as what you've done in your if statements, and then a value. So this statement will show me all my grade 10 learners, because in my where I added a condition that says only show me the records where the field was equal to 10. Here's another example. Here I'm displaying only some of the fields from this table, but in this instance I'm looking for John, so all instances of John. So there is my where. My field name is first name in my database, and I'm saying equals to John, but you'll note there's little double quotes around it. Now that means that John is, the field first name is a text data type, and therefore John needs double quotes around it. You'll see grade was stored as a number field in my database, so no quotes around 10, but if this field is a text data type, my values needs quotes around them. This is an example of what you will find in your question paper, most probably at the back. And this is a description of the two tables that are in my database, and they will also explain to you how they are linked to your program. But the one table is called TBL Company that we've used before, and there are its field names. And here is where we select the data types, but we are given this database, so we just have to be aware of the data types. You'll see there's a date time one as well, and there's the text ones. And then in table activity, there we have these field names. I've spoken about number, text where the values need quotes, and currency is dealt with the same as we'll deal with the number field, so they won't have quotes around it, as well as my yes no fields. The yes no fields are Boolean fields, so either true or false, yes or no. So here's an example of a query using a yes no field. Before this, where you'll always have select field names from and a table name, and then I could say where paid is equal to true. So that will show me all the records where the paid field was true or yes. Now, just out of interest, because we'll deal with that probably in another lesson, but true is stored also as a -1, and you can put here -1, or you could put yes, or you can put true, as long as you don't put quotes around it. And then where paid is false, false will be 0, and you can also put a no there. So for date time data types, we need to put hashes around the values. So let's say order date was a date time data type. We are going to put hashes around the values. So we could say where the order date was before the 3rd of December 1998. What you need to do is take note of your system date. So that's the date you see at the right bottom of your screen on a computer, and match this format with that date. So mine actually on my computer, it looks like this. So this one will say where the order date is greater than or equal to my year first, then my month, and then my day. We can also use an and or an or. So for an and in a where both of these conditions need to be true. So when the renting cost is more than 2,000, as well as where the ticket cost is equal to 20. So records that meet both of these conditions will be shown. Whereas if I replace the same statement here with an or, this will show me where the renting cost is more than 2,000, as well as those records where the ticket cost was 20. So the or here will show me more records than my and. So I'd like you to go to the GDE website or the education.gov website, and I want you to download the final of 2018 paper 1, and I want you to try and do these questions. For what we've learned up to now, you can only do 2.1.1 and 2.1.2, so give it a go and see if you get the right output for those two questions. We also have the between operator, and this is quite handy. We can write this SQL statement as where cost is greater or equal to 100 and the cost is less or equal to 1,000, or we can use the between operator that will do the same thing. So this says where the cost is between this value and that value. The word between is a little misleading because it does not mean between like in maths. It means from this number to this number. If you use this method here, please remember to repeat the field name. You can't just write where cost is greater or equal to 100 and less or equal to 1,000. You have to repeat your field name here. We can also use this between on a date time data type. So let's say date of birth was a date time data type. In our database, we can use between, and then we have to remember to put the hashes around these values. This statement here is really saying who was born in the year 2002, as I'm including the 1st of January 2002, and I'm going all the way up to the 31st of December 2002. We can also use the between on text data type fields, And what is great about this is we don't have to say look at the first character. It will automatically only look at the first character and show me the names that start with A, B, and C. Yes, only up to C, because D is excluded. So for numbers and currencies and date time fields, the second value is included, but for text data types, the second value is excluded. So if I wanted to go to D, I will have to say E here. So this is what we've learned today. We learned how to use the select with a star or some field names. And remember, add from and then the name of the table as it is in Access. And then we learned how to order by in ascending order and then also in descending order. We then learned how to use the where, and remember text fields need the quotes around the values. Numbers, currencies, and yes, no fields need nothing around the value. And then for date time, we need the hashes around the value. And then we also took a quick look at between. Remember to go to this website, go to Curriculum and National Senior Certificate, and go and find some past papers and do as many SQL statements as you can from the past papers. And next time we'll have a look at is null in SQL, in getting user input like and distinct. We'll see how far we get with the next lesson. So thank you for STEM Lockdown Digital School, and go and look for Africa Teen Gigs on YouTube, and here are all your hashtags. Hope to see you soon.